Johnny P on the UFC 115. Chuck Liddell versus Rich Ace Franklin. First event ever to be held in Vancouver, beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia. Another Canadian city taking on to the trend, looking to make money. Hopefully Toronto soon. www.ipetition.com/petition/Ontario MMA. Kicking off the event, Tough 9 winner James Wilkes versus Peter Sabota. Wilkes, since winning the show, has one loss, and that's been to Matt Brown. The return of David Loiseau, David the Crow Loiseau, who's not granted his fighting license by the Quebec Athletic Commission for the event in Montreal this past April, will be fighting Mario Miranda. Former tough competitors. Now, I do believe that this fight will be live on Spike TV as part of the prelim package that they do put on at 9 p.m. Eastern. And you're going to see two former tough competitors and winner of Tough 5, Matt Danzig, take on Matt Wyman. For those of you who don't know Matt Wyman, all I got to say is YouTube. Spencer Fisher versus Matt Wyman. It is a fairly decent fight for 2 rounds, but if you're looking for one of the best knockouts ever seen in the UFC, fast forward if you're too impatient straight to the end of the video. That flying knee is ridiculous. Another fight that will be broadcasted on Spike TV is Tyson Griffin versus the undefeated Evan Dunham. Interesting note is that Tyson, along with his brother Forrest Griffin, assistant coaches on, well, at least for a show with Rich Franklin as well as Gray Maynard. Basically, I think Dana White was, yeah, as he said, trying to overdo what had happened with Tito there. So definitely a good call, and I'm pretty sure that Tyson and Forrest Griffin are not brothers. Carlos Condit versus the BC native fighting out of Kelowna, British Columbia, Rory the Waterboy McDonald. Condit is a warrior. I will give him credit. He held the WEC belt for about 2 years, and in his first fight in the UFC versus Jake Ellenberger, he looked to be finished as soon as that fight started, showed his warrior spirit, and pulled out the victory. Carlos Condit is going on, and he's saying how Rory McDonald is very similar to what he was just a couple years ago. Now, Rory McDonald is no joke. This should be one of the most exciting fights on this card. Interesting note is that Carlos Condit has not fought since September 09, and that was a fight versus Jake Ellenberger. He had hand surgery after that. Gilbert Ivell, Ben Rothwell, both these guys are sluggers. Both of them I think want to keep it on the feet and just go at it. I know Ivell's not too happy after being knocked out by Junior Dos Santos in a huge fight in his UFC debut. Rothwell is a veteran, holds victories over UFC vets as Krzysztof Sozinski and Tough 10 winner Roy Big Country Nelson. This one should be a good fight. And my boy Paulo Thiago will be fighting Martin Kampmann. I think Paulo Thiago is basically going to solidify his top 5 contendership in the 170-pound weight class. Martin Kampmann, I mean, he's a good kickboxer, but I don't think he belongs up there with the upper echelon of the welterweight class. Mirko Krokop, Pat Barry. Pat Barry is a former World Combat League fighter, I guess. I think that was the one that Chuck Liddell put on the kickboxing that we all used to watch when there's nothing else on. He trained with Ernesto Hoos in Netherlands, so he is no joke of a kickboxer, and he is fighting perhaps one of the best kickboxers that we have ever seen, ever grace the sport of MMA, in Mirko Krokop. This one here could take fight of the night, could take knockout of the night, and it could take submission of the night. Now, I don't see it taking submission of the night, but both fight of the night and knockout of the night, this one could take. Could this be the night that Krokop, well, I shouldn't say retires, but gets retired? So we'll see how that all transpires. Chuck Liddell versus Rich Franklin. Could this be the night that Chuck Liddell retires? I think, Chuck Liddell, maybe back in the day when he was just he wasn't such a great wrestler, but his takedown defense was spectacular, and he was the best striker in the division. And if you put those two hand in hand, you're looking at a pretty unbeatable fighter. Unfortunately, I think Chuck Liddell's time has come and gone. I hope he proves me wrong and knocks Rich Franklin's head off tonight, but personally, I just do not see it happening. I think Franklin will take this fight. So it could be possibly the retirements of two veterans and legends of the sport in Chuck Liddell and Mirko Cro Cop. Hope y'all enjoy. This is Johnny P on the UFC. Until next time, the post-fight recap. This is Johnny P signing off saying keep your chin up and your guard down. England!